Greetings, YouTube. Contrary to what the latest executive order coming from Trump's declares, we don't have a national language. There is no official language in America. I know that Trump wants you to believe that there is, but he doesn't make laws. He can help undermine the efforts that have been made to make federal agencies and information more accessible to people that don't speak English as a birth tongue. But it doesn't mean that we have an official language because we don't. It's the dominant language, and it's a language that's spread across the world, but it's not the most popular language there is. Uh, I mean, Chinese is probably the most popular language on the planet when it comes to actually number of speakers, I figure. And a lot of the places in the world that are using English, are shifting it to more readily meet the needs of their people. So the language English is becoming more of a base upon which other people are building. But then again, English has always been a mess of uh, terms and phrases and words and grammar types that have all been shoved together to make this one big ball of confusion. English makes no goddamn sense. I only speak English and I still do not understand so much of how this language functions. It just makes no sense to me a lot of the time. I'll look at a word and go, please explain to me why the hell that word has two L's and that word has one L and they sound the same. It makes no sense to me. So imagine how difficult it is if you're coming to that language from a different place, particularly places that have no that aren't related in any way, shape, or form. There's no connection to that. The languages are completely separate. They were developed in different continents. It can be very daunting. I know the difficulty it is to trying to talk to someone when we literally share almost no language. And I feel great sympathy for people who can't communicate in English when I'm at work because the only language I speak is English. And all of our instructions are in English, though we are making efforts to make things more accessible. And we are actually getting some help from some new software or something that they're going to be moving forward with that will help translate some of the things that we need translated. Because we have like, I don't know, it's like 37 or 38 different languages spoken at my company. So yeah, it's a lot of languages. Um, but the country itself does not have an official language. When we arrived, there were lots of languages here, and some of the first people that showed up didn't even speak English. Some of the first Europeans that showed up here weren't English speakers. Yes, the Puritans, Plymouth Rock, all that BS. Yeah, they were English speakers, but it was a type of English that you would have a difficult time communicating with. Have you ever read the actual texts and letters and things of that era? They're difficult to parse unless you've had experience with it. And I have. Have you ever tried reading Old English? That's even worse. I've read Old English before, and I have a super difficult time understanding the structure of the language, even though it is the foundation upon which I am speaking to you right now. But this is a racist move by Trump and his cronies. They want there to be an official language. They want to make it as difficult as possible for people that have not born into the language to be able to interface with the government and with the agencies that they can access to help improve their lives and make their you know process of becoming Americans easier because they don't want people that don't speak English to be Americans. Unless you're really, really white. If you're really, really white, they'll let you in. Even if you come from a place, say, South Africa, and you've never spoken English, they're still quite happy to let you come in here because you're really, really white. They like really, really white people. They're willing to overlook the fact that you may not speak English. Back in the 90s, and actually early 2000s, when the government said that we're taking in X number of immigrants every year, southern states volunteered to take in people from Bosnia. Why? They didn't want immigrants, but the Bosnians were white. So even though they didn't want immigrants and they treated them like crap, I know I have spoken to Bosnian immigrants that originally immigrated to America into southern states. And as soon as they could get past a certain, their integration period, and then they were allowed to move where they wanted to, they left the southern states for that reason. But that meant that the southern states could say, we've met our immigration quota. We don't need to take any of those Africans or any of those brown people. That was their strategy, and it worked. Though I've met some really nice Bosnian people because they moved up here to get into New Hampshire to get away from southern states. But yeah, we don't have an official language, and I doubt Congress is ever going to create one, even though the current Congress is under the thumb of the Nazi regime. It would be a very complex thing. It would be very difficult to do, and it would be fought every step of the way in the courts, which is as it should be. We should be making communication easier, not harder. So contrary to what Trump says, English is not the official language of America. Presidents don't make laws. I know some folks will find that shocking.